Here, Madison, Alabama. I am the author of Loving Living Gluten Free Recipes That Work. You can get this on my website, which is www.thebabbitts.net, or you can get it on Amazon. There's two versions of the digital. One is Kathy A. Babbitt, one's Kathy Babbitt. Get the Kathy Babbitt one if you do get it the digital. Anyways, there was a typo, so I fixed it and republished it. But anyways, so this recipe that I'm going to do today is a modification from this. There is an apple pie in here, and I'm going to basically I'm going to make the apple pie without the crust, and it'll be apple crisp because the apple pie has an apple crisp topping on it. And it's fantastic. It is fantastic. So let's do this. I have already measured out, and I cannot stress the importance of measuring out in advance what you need. That way, if you are measuring things out and you find out, oh, wow, hey, I don't have enough sugar, or I'm out of cinnamon, I'm out of nutmeg, you don't have to stop in the middle and run out and get it or change the plans entirely. You will know when you've measured it all out that you have it. And in culinary school, that's called mise en place, and it just simply means everything in its place, and it's the way we're trained, and it's very valuable. So I have already done that. So right here, I have a 1/4 cup of my flour mix. Now you can get this off my website. You can contact me and I'll send it. Or what it is it's equal parts of white rice flour, cornstarch, or tapioca flour, your choice if you can't have corn, and then half in brown rice flour. So if you do a pound of white rice, a pound of cornstarch or tapioca, you'll do a half a pound of the brown rice flour. If you don't do it by weight and you go on my website, there is, or you get the book, there is what it involves if you do it by measure, because they are not equal by weight. And the mix is by weight. So in here, I've got that. I've also got a half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and I've got a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm just going to whisk that together, make it all nice and happy. And then I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of white sugar. Now, if you don't want white sugar, use coconut sugar. That's fine. That's fine. You can use an alternative if you want, if that's what you're more comfortable with. I'm just going to kind of mix all this together. Then I am going to get a spoon. I have got here about 3 cups of sliced apples. If you don't want to slice apples, these are Granny Smith apples. If you don't want to slice apples, you can probably get them frozen. And how much you use, the recipe in the book calls for 8 cups because that's what you need to fill the pie pan. But I'm doing apple crisp, and I'm making it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to just add my apples here. The apples are soaking in lemon water so they don't turn brown. And it doesn't take a lot. You can use a vitamin C tablet. If you don't want to use lemon, some people have problems with lemon. But you just want to have something that's going to keep your apples from turning brown. Otherwise, they're going to turn brown on you, and it's just not real pretty. It doesn't hurt them, but it does just not real attractive. So then I'm just going to take it, I'm going to spread this around in here. I'm just going to kind of mix it together, get all of that wonderful topping on the apples. You just mix that up. I'm pulling from the bottom up because remember that's where I got the mix. It's on the bottom. It's not any easier if you pour it on top, put it in the middle. Still all the same. That little beep, I'm preheating the oven to 350 degrees. So that's what that was. So I'm just mixing these up. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to spread around when it gets in the pan. Not a problem. Not a lot of sugar, if you notice. 1/3 cup of sugar, not a whole bunch of sugar just going in here. Now, if you're making it just an apple pie and you're using regular pie, this is an apple pie filling. You can use, there's a recipe in there for the apple, for pie crust, and you can use bottom and top crust if that's what you like. Not everybody likes oatmeal and all that kind of stuff that goes in the topping. So, we'll get ours. I'm making it in this orange, it's, Halloween. So I'm putting it in this orange container. And I'm just going to spray the bottom. I don't necessarily know that it's necessary, but with all the sugar in here, I'm just kind of hedging a bet. So then I'm going to put all this apple right in here. It's just going to drop in there. See how it's all nice and coated. And there's still a little coating on the bottom. So we'll make sure all of that gets in here. Kind of spread my apples out. It's so good. The nutmeg, and here's a little kind of cool thing about making stuff yourself. So when you make stuff yourself, if you don't like nutmeg, don't put nutmeg in here. You like cinnamon? Don't put cinnamon in here. You want allspice? Well, put it in there. You want pumpkin spice? Whatever you want to put in here, you can. When it comes time for Thanksgiving and Christmas and I actually make the apple pie, I will throw in here some cranberries because it's pretty. You don't have to. If you don't like cranberries, don't do it. If you have a different favorite apple, I happen to love this with the Granny Smith apple because I get a kind of a sweet and sour at the same time. It's tangy. I happen to like that. If you don't like it, that's cool. Use the apples you want. That's a beautiful thing about making it yourself. If you don't want to use regular sugar, use the sugar you want to use. You know, you can adjust the recipes for your own taste. And of course, because I work with gluten-free people and dairy-free and you know, other medical issues with food, I think, you know, I teach them so that they can make those modifications however they need to. There's some really good products out there, including, you know, vegan cream cheese. Really good products out there. So, I'm putting gloves on for a reason. So I got my apples here. Now I'm going to make my apple crisp topping. That's why I put my gloves on. You can use this. This is a really great tool. Not everybody has one. This is a pastry cutter, so it's for cutting things into the butter. So I've got a stick of butter here. I'm just going to drop this in here. The butter should be soft. Now, soft does not mean melted. When someone says that they want the butter to be soft, usually what that means is when you press your thumb into it, you can indent it. It doesn't mean your thumb goes all the way through. It just means that you can put your thumb and it makes a little indentation. That would be softened butter. Room temperature butter, well, of course, that's going to depend on your room temperature. But room temperature butter is usually softer than that. But in this case, we're cutting this in. We don't want this butter melted. We want it to be chunky. So I'm adding a cup of oatmeal. I got 3/4 of a cup of my all-purpose flour. And in here, I also have some cinnamon. So I'm just going to kind of stir that up a little bit. One of the things about baking is a lot of times the way it goes in is the way it stays. So if you got clumps of cinnamon in one place and not others, with this melting, that's a little bit different. Also, on this one, I did not weigh everything, and that's because usually with baking, we weigh everything. But with something like this, if you're a little bit less or a little bit more flour, it's not going to affect it, depending on how you do it. So, and then I got 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. And we're going to cut this in. You just take the pastry cutter, you just cut it in. I got the gloves because I'm going to be having to mess with the flour. Normally, you know, if your hands are clean and you're cooking it, you don't necessarily have to be gloved, but it's just a little thing this way. And also, if you don't have a pastry cutter, don't run out and buy one. It's not a big deal. You can actually take your hands and you can cut it in just like that. So you take your hands, and the thing is, you don't want to leave your hands. You want to do it quick, because the one thing you don't want to do is the heat from your hands is melt the butter. Because you want it to stay kind of chunky, right? Because we're cutting it in. That's the whole idea. So you just kind of mix it in like that. But we're going to go back. I like the pastry cutter, but that's how you can do it. If you don't have a pastry cutter, you do not have to run out and buy one. Makes life easier, but if you don't use it all the time, use your hands. Just either really washed or wash them and put gloves on. So we're going to get all the way down to the bottom. Just like that. Okay. Some of it we will mix again as we're putting it on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this fantastic apple. We got apple filling right here. I don't know how much of this you can see. And I'm just going to take this and I'm going to put it on here. Move that over a little bit. And I'm going to pat it down. Now if it's more than you want to put on there, wrap it up, put it in the refrigerator. When you need some streusel topping for something, you'll have it. I'm just using my hands to kind of mix the mix it up a little bit more. And again, because this is melting with the butter, it's going to actually melt down in. It'll mix too. Okay. So I'm going to press it down. When I put this in the oven, I'm actually going to put a pan underneath it just in case it bubbles over. It won't make a mess of the oven. Okay. There we go. I'm going to pat that down really good. And in the oven it'll go. I'm going to cook this at a 350 degree oven. It should take about 40 minutes, depending on your oven, depending on how your oven cycles. But it should take about 40 minutes. So, I'll see you later. All right, bye. Hi, Kath Babbitt back here with the Apple Crisp. So, it wound up taking about an hour. Pan's real thick, but the apples are real thick. So, I just wanted to show you what kind of it ended up like. It's kind of hard to see, but see, it's got this beautiful, beautiful crisp crust on it, like an apple crisp. And the apples are nice and tender. And it's bubbling in there. That you really can't see, but you can see it like bubbling around the edges. And it just looks amazing. Let me see, maybe I can take the camera back here. I won't make it too weird, but you can see how it is. And it's just gorgeous. It's got a nice crust on it. And the apples are tender. That's how you know. I just took a fork and pierced the apples to make sure that the apples were nice and tender. Now it's hot, so it'll continue to cook, but I just wanted you to see that this is the finished product for the apple crisp. Aren't these gloves the best? I think these are the best gloves on earth. But anyways, they're grilling gloves. So, and they fit. They're fantastic. But anyways, this is what we got. This is what we made today. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, you can get the recipe. It would be for the apple pie. Just don't do the crust. And it is on the website, www.thebabbitts.net or www.lovingliving.glutenfree.com. Loving Living Gluten Free is the name of the book. And you can get that online. You can shoot me a message if you're in the area. I'm happy to get it to you. I have some at the house. And they're also at SureSave and Madison Drugs. So that would be in the Huntsville area. So anyways, hope you enjoy it. It is so good. We will be loving this at dinner time tonight. All right, bye.